Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Clark, are you sure that you don't know anything about Missouri v. Biden? You don't know anything about that case?
Thank you for the opportunity to clarify. This is a case being handled by our Civil Division, and I assure you, Chairman, that the Justice Department...
Have you read the opinion?
The Justice Department is compliant
No, I didn't ask that. Did you read the opinion, either from the Western District of Louisiana or the Fifth Circuit opinion?
I gleaned the ruling, but it's not a Civil Rights Division case.
Well, which is it? Because, first of all, when Mr. Bishop asked, you said you didn't know one darn thing about it. Now you're saying you gleaned or you glanced or what?
I appreciate the opportunity to clarify. The Civil Division is handling this case, and the department is compliant with the court's
Well, First Amendment rights
injunction.
are pretty fundamental rights. That's something you don't think the Civil Rights Division should be involved in. This is censorship.
Absolutely, Chairman. The First
But you're
Amendment
not?
is a bedrock principle of our democracy.
Well, let me go a little different route then. Do politics drive the decisions at the Justice Department today?
Politics have no place in the work of the Civil Rights Division.
3 months ago, the New Mexico governor announced a 30-day ban on citizens' right to carry a concealed firearm in Albuquerque and the county that Albuquerque sits in. What did the Justice Department do when the governor did that unconstitutional order? What did the DOJ do in response to that unconstitutional action from the governor of New Mexico?
I am generally aware of the matter that you are referring to, but gun control is not a core issue that we handle.
Second Amendment, a fundamental right like the First Amendment, it's pretty important, isn't it?
These are very important issues to the department.
Well, tell me what the Justice Department did when this happened, when the governor imposed this unconstitutional ban.
I'm happy to bring your question back to my colleagues.
You don't know that one either.
The Criminal Division and the Civil Division.
You don't know about Missouri v. Biden. You don't know what the DOJ did in response to the governor of New Mexico's action. Well, here's what the county sheriff said. He held a press conference saying that this thing was unconstitutional, unenforceable, and incapable of stopping and curbing gun violence. The New Mexico Attorney General, who's a Democrat, said this thing will not have any impact on public safety and does not pass constitutional muster. So when the Democrat Attorney General of New Mexico said it doesn't fit the Constitution, but you guys at DOJ don't do a darn thing? Is that what you're telling me?
Politics have no place in the work of the Justice Department, Chairman, but...
Are you aware of anything the Justice Department did to that unconstitutional order from the governor of New Mexico?
Not in the Civil Rights Division, Chairman, but I can certainly bring your question.
You're an important person in the Justice Department. Did the Justice Department do anything?
Yes, we enforce the laws that Congress gave us, Chairman.
No, in this case, did the Justice Department do anything?
I will bring that question back to my
I'll give you the answer. They didn't. They didn't file an amicus. They didn't put any statement of interest. They didn't do a darn thing, which gets back to the point I think Mr. McClintock was making earlier. It shows, I think, how political you are, because when Texas passed a pro-life bill on September 1st, 2021, 8 days later, the Department of Justice announces an investigation into that bill. Now, this is what amazes me. That's a bill that actually passed the state House, passed the state Senate, was signed by the governor, and you guys are in there contesting that 8 days later. But you have something in New Mexico, which is an obvious direct assault on the Second Amendment, and it's an order from the governor. It didn't go through the legislature. The governor does it, and the Department of Justice does nothing.
The Civil Rights Division is deeply committed to enforcing the laws that this body gave us and committed to standing up for the rights, the civil rights of all Americans, Chairman.
Well, you can say it, but based on some of your other answers, not knowing the first thing about Missouri v. Biden, not knowing what, if anything, was done, because nothing was actually done, relative to the governor's unconstitutional order regarding New Mexico citizens and residents and Americans' Second Amendment rights. This is why we're so darn concerned. I appreciate the chairman having this hearing. With that, I got 38 seconds. I'd be happy to yield to the gentleman from Arizona. Thank the gentleman for yielding. Ms. Clark, who's Ava Edel?
Chairman, that is not a name that I'm familiar with.
Well, I'll try to familiarize you with her. She's an 87-year-old pro-life advocate who survived a communist concentration camp in Yugoslavia after World War II that you guys have charged under the FACE Act for praying and singing in front of an abortion clinic. Is that the best use of the Justice Department's time and energy?
As noted, the FACE Act is a law that this body passed in response to efforts to obstruct access to reproductive health clinics, threats of violence, acts of violence. We follow the facts and apply the law without fear or favor, Chairman.
Really? I think we've heard a lot of that today about how if you're pro-life, you get the full treatment. Just ask Ava Edel, 87-year-old concentration camp survivor. But if you're on the other side, after the Dobbs decision, it's a different issue. In spite of what you've said, that you apply it equally across the board. How about your decision to file a lawsuit against SpaceX? Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, Chairman.
Let me ask it this way first. Did Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter have anything to do with the Justice Department's decision to file that lawsuit against SpaceX?
The investigation into SpaceX was open during the last administration, and we filed an administrative action under the Immigration and Nationality Act, an important law passed by this body with bipartisan support and signed into law by President Reagan.
So what are you alleging that SpaceX did wrong?
In this case, we allege that the company is not compliant with the anti-discrimination provisions of the Immigration and Nationality Act. This is a law that has been—
Who are they discriminating against?
Here they are discriminating against people who have received refugee and asylum status by our federal courts under the INA.
They're discriminating against refugees and asylum seekers, is that right?
No, Chairman, against people who have received refugee status and asylum status by our federal courts and who enjoy equal standing under federal law to U.S. citizens and naturalized citizens. The law requires equal treatment of these individuals.
And you're saying that SpaceX did not hire, is that appropriate, did not hire enough refugees or people who've been granted asylum? Is that what you're asserting in the lawsuit?
And that they discourage those people from applying for any job, whether it's for a custodial position, office clerk, someone who works in a kitchen facility, all the way up through engineering.
So you're suing,
I
just want to cut to the chase. You're suing SpaceX because they hired too many Americans, too many citizens, not enough people who are refugees or people who've been granted asylum.
This investigation—
And you waited to sue. This investigation started 3 years ago. I know the facts. It started 3 years ago. And yet you bring the lawsuit after Mr. Musk purchases Twitter, now X. Is that right?
We apply the laws that this body gave us without fear or favor.
And Mr. Musk, his assertion is that they're dealing with national security type information at SpaceX, and that's why he's even posted this before you brought the lawsuit. He said this, that's why they focus on hiring people who have a green card or are American citizens. And you guys say, this is something we need to go after SpaceX because they're not hiring enough Americans, and we need to charge Ava Edel, 87-year-old concentration camp survivor. That's what the Justice Department and the Biden administration needs to do. But oh, by the way, we don't know anything about Missouri v. Biden. We didn't weigh in on the issue where a governor of a state told the citizens, they're American citizens, you cannot exercise your Second Amendment rights contrary to the law, contrary to what the Supreme Court has said. And you're trying to tell us today that the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department is not political. Frankly, I find it almost laughable that you're making that argument, because anyone with common sense and any objectivity can see you guys are definitely political. With that, I yield back and thank the gentleman who's left for yielding time.